What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Mimighoul deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is one of my favorite decks to play, especially with all the spicy tech cards I've included in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell and there's income part notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Mimighoul Dragon. This card is the best normal summon in the entire deck, with an awesome ability, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Mimighoul spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This card is definitely a 3-of in the deck, because this card is also an amazing card to hand to your opponent, as all of our Mimighoul monsters share a common effect, that during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in face down defense position, and they all have flip effects that when they're flip face up, they get a unique ability, then they come back to our control. With this card having the ability, when this card is flip face up, destroy all face up monsters that you control except Mimighoul monsters, then give control of this card to your opponent, meaning it will destroy all of our opponent's monsters, then we regain control of this card, which is awesome. We then play 3 copies of Mimighoul Archfiend. This card is definitely a 3-of as well. This card is an amazing ability. If this card is normal or special summon, you can change one face down defense position monster on the field to face up attack or defense position, making our Mimighouls that we hand our opponent go off. This card also has the ability, when this card is flip face up, your opponent draws a card, meaning we draw a card, we send a card from our hand to the graveyard, meaning our opponent sends a card from their hand to the graveyard, and we regain control of this card, which is an amazing ability. We then play 2 copies of Mimighoul Fairy. Mimighoul Fairy is a great extender in the build because this card has a great ability. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in face down defense position, or if you control a Mimighoul monster, you can special summon this card face up to your field, meaning this card can instantly be used as an extender to help us go in for XZ plays. And if this card is flip face up this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the hand, which is a crazy powerful floodgate-like effect that we can use against our opponent. We then play a single copy of Mimighoul Slime. Mimighoul Slime is a great 1-of in the build to basically use your copy of Maker to hand this card to your opponent, and we get a copy of Archfiend, as this card has the ability, if this card is flip face up, your opponent can special summon a Mimighoul monster from the deck to their field, meaning we instantly get another Mimighoul monster to our side of the field, which is such a powerful effect. We then play a single copy of Mimighoul Armor. This card is also an amazing extender in the build and helps out a lot in this deck. As this card is flip face up, this turn Mimighoul monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and also this card is a really cool extender because during your main phase you can special summon this card from their hand to your opponent's field in face down defense position, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card face up to our field, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play a single copy of Mimighoul Master. Master is a great 1-of in the build, but because we do have Throne as an XZ monster, we only need a single copy of this card. This card is a great effect that it cannot be destroyed by a battle or by card effects while your opponent controls any face-down monsters, or you control a Mimighoul monster other than this card. Also, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Mimighoul monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can change one face-down defense position monster on the field to face-up attack or defense position, which is a great ability to be able to use to basically flip the Mimighouls that we hand to our opponent face up, so we can get their effects to go off and we regain control of them. We then play 3 copies of Cashier Unicorn. Cashier Unicorn is such a broken 3-of in this build because since we're handing our opponents monsters and they activate on our opponent's side of the field, Cashier Unicorn's effect will actually go off so we can get rid of cards out of our opponent's extract. This card is also a really good tech card in the build because if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add a cast your spell from your deck to your hand, and during this turn, when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster's effect, you can look at your opponent's act check and view banish a monster from it face down, which is an amazing ability just to deal with cards in your opponent's act check. This card is so good in the build and helps you deal with boss monsters in your opponent's act check before they even get out of the act check to the field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3 of the build to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Molcharmy Fluros. Fluros is an amazing 3 of the build to help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is an amazing 1 of in the build that can help us get to one of our 2 awesome field spells in this deck. We make a single copy of Cast Your Birth. Cast Your Birth is searchable off your copy of Unicorn, and this card is amazing because it lets you normal summon a level 7 monster without tributing, but the really cool ability is during your main phase, you can special summon one of your non-XZ Cast Your monsters that's banished or in the graveyard, helping you instantly bring back your copy of Unicorn to your side of the field. And if your opponent activates a spell card or effect and you control a Cast Your monster, you can target 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard and banish them face down, which is a broken ability. And then a single copy of Pressured Planet. Pressured Planet is basically Rhoda for your copy of Unicorn, which is amazing to instantly search your copy of Unicorn from your deck to your hand. And this card is super cool to search off your copy of Terraforming, so we can basically just use this card to get to our copy of Unicorn. And then a single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is amazing because, again, our opponent is going to be technically activating the effects of our Mimighouls, and then we regain control of them. So this card is always live in this deck. So this card is the ability you can draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster into the end phase, or look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck. We then play 2 copies of Triple Tactic Thrust. Thrust is an amazing 2-of in the build and helps out so much in this deck to basically just get to the exact spell card that we need. And this card is just absolutely amazing as we have so many cool targets in this build to be able to get to. We then play 2 copies of Bot Herder. Bot Herder is crazy powerful in this build, and this card is a new card that we just recently got out of the Megatons, and this card is absolutely broken. This card is that you can target one monster that your opponent controls, and that is face-up monster that you own or a face-down defense monster, and if that monster is no longer on the field or is a monster that you originally own, if face-down, reveal it briefly to check and apply these effects in sequence. You inflict 200 points of damage to your opponent. Doesn't sound crazy, but this second effect, you get to take control of all monsters that your opponent controls except that monster, which is a crazy powerful effect that you basically just take your opponent's entire board when you activate this card, which is so broken. When this card resolves, you basically win the game because you can hand your opponent a Mimighoul monster, activate this, check it with your copy of Bot Herder and go, hey, I know I own that card, and you take control of your opponent's entire field except for that monster, which we can then flip face up with one of our other cards and take control of that card too, which is absolutely broken. This card wins so many games and is so broken for Mimighoul to be able to play to instantly just take control of your opponent's entire board and do 200 points of damage to your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Mimighoul Dungeon. Dungeon is such a powerful 3-of in the build and such an awesome card to be able to play because Mimighoul monsters you control that were not normal or special summoned this turn gain attack equal to their own original defense points, and any player who controls a face-down monster cannot normal summon monsters nor declare attacks with monsters that were special summoned this turn, which is such a broken floodgate-like effect. Also, during your main phase, you can add 1 Mimighoul monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, helping you grab an additional monster, which is super cool, and this card is awesome to be able to grab off your copy of Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Mimighoul Maker. Maker is such a powerful starter in the deck and an awesome combo piece to basically just reveal your copy of Archfiend and your copy of Slime and hope that you can hand your opponent a copy of Slime using this card so you can summon out your copy of Archfiend, flip it up, regain control of Slime, and activate Slime's ability to summon out an additional Mimighoul to your side of the field, which is super cool. As this card is able to reveal 2 flip monsters with different names in your deck, your opponent randomly picks one of them to special summon to their field in face down defense position. If you do add the other to your hand, then you can special summon a Mimighoul monster from your hand, which is such a broken ability. Also, if your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target a face down monster that your opponent controls, and change it to face attack defense position, which if you hand your opponent a copy of another Mimighoul monster, you can flip it face up using this card, so you can activate cards like Dragon that you hand your opponent to board wipe your opponent's monsters, which is awesome. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Angel Statue Azarim. This card is great as a 1-of in the build to basically just use this card with your copy of Sailor Hat Rabbit to set this card to your side of the field and use it as a special summon to game. It's just super cool to be able to summon out to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Mimighoul Room. Mimighoul Room is definitely a 3-of in the build, and this card is super cool to be able to play because it lets you special summon a Mimighoul monster from your hand or deck to your field or in face down defense position to your opponent's field, then change a face-up monster on the field to face down defense position. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and then target any number of monster or Mimighoul cards that you control and return them back to the hand, which is a pretty cool ability to be able to use so you can use their effects all over again. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of in the build to basically just use this card to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Giant Mimighoul. Giant Mimighoul is definitely a 2-of in the build, just such a powerful card to be able to play, as this card is absolutely broken, just requiring 2 level 1 monsters to make this card, and your non-Eggsy Mimighoul monsters can attack directly while your opponent controls a face-down monster, which is a pretty cool ability to help us swing in for game, especially with their copy of Dungeon boosting our monster's attack points. This card also has the ability in this card is Eggsy Summon. You can add a Mimighoul card from your deck to your hand. You can also detach a material from this card and then target face-up cards on the field up to the number of face-down monsters that your opponent controls and destroy them, and if you do, inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent for each card destroyed by this effect, which is a super cool ability. With my single copy of Throne. Throne is really cool as a 1-of in the build because this card helps us get to our copy of Mimighoul Master, letting us detach a material in this card to special summon a Mimighoul Master from our hand, deck, or graveyard. And during the main phase, quick effect, you can actually target a Mimighoul Master you control and equip this card to the monster as an equip spell. It gives it 1,000 attack points. Then you can return cards on the field to the hand up to the number of materials this card had, helping use this card as an interruption, which is super cool. But you can only use 1 effect this card per turn and only once that turn. We then make a single copy of Assembled Nightingale. Assembled Nightingale is just really good in the deck to help us make a copy of Zeus, and it can attack directly, which is super cool. We then make a single copy of Fucho. Fucho is just really cool as a 1-of as well to help us make our copy of Zeus just in case we need to. We make a single copy of Downer just to give us an additional material under our copy of Zeus, and then we play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is awesome to be able to play in the build just to help you board wipe the field just in case you need to. We make a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's great as a 1-of in the build to basically just use this card as a 3,000 attack point monster skill drain and a bounce. We make a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess just helps us out towers like boss monsters. It's just a good option overall in the deck so we can easily swarm the board. I'm going to steal a copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This card is great as a boss monster in the deck. As our copy of Cashier Unicorn is a level 7 or higher monster, we can easily make this card. And then this card is link summon using a level 7 or higher monster as a material. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate one of these effects. This card gains 1500 attack points permanently and make a second attack during the battle phase of the next turn, or non-targeting banish a card from the field, which is a pretty cool effect. I'm going to steal a copy of SP. SP is great to be able to play in the deck. It basically uses a double interruption. One copy of Still or Hat Rabbit, so we can set our copy of Angel Statue to our side of the field directly from our deck and use it as an MST. When we actually flip our copy of Angel Statue is great. Plus, this card cannot be destroyed by battle, which is super cool because it is an illusion monster. I mean, it's a copy of IP. IP is great in the decks. Make your copy of SP or your copy of Underworld Goddess during the opponent's turn. One copy of Linkrevo, because we do play a lot of level 1 monsters, and this card is just awesome in the deck to help us basically protect our monster from being destroyed by battle, and it's awesome to finally have Linkrevo back. I'm going to steal a copy of Relinquished Anima. Relinquished Anima is great as a 1-in build just to gobble up your opponent's monsters just in case you need to. It's just an awesome option overall in the build. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play, and one of my favorite decks to currently play. And I play this all the time on stream whenever I stream Master Duel, because it's just such a fun deck to be able to play. And if you guys have not checked out one of the live streams, you definitely should check them out, because they're a lot of fun. And you guys can always get the notification about those by hitting that bell down there to become a part of the notification squad. So, that's it for this one, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you, guys.